Hey friends, I'm back with another video. This one's going to be about jewel crafting, primarily the trio jewelry, everything from the lowest end to the highest end. Well, the highest end that I can currently craft anyway. Don't think I'm ready for those level 120 pieces of jewelry, so we're going to start off with looking at Electrum. Now, I'm not going to go out of my way to craft every single piece of jewelry I'm going to review, but I will make, let's say a Electrum Trio ring, because that's the bottom. That's a level 1 character, a brand new character can use Electrum Trio. I actually think I'm going to make 2 rings because I'm going to do a couple of different combinations of gems and stuff. Honestly, if I really want to be thorough, I'll make a couple of earrings too, just because I want to show you some of the different combinations of gems. So let's say we're on the low end. We'll say we're on a progression server of some kind. Well, you might not have a ton of options as far as a progression server goes, because you may not have access to underfoot diamonds. You might not even have access to nihilite. So let's say trio jewelry has just been introduced. You don't have access to nihilite, or you just don't have any. What could you do? Can you make a decent trio ring or earring? Well, for one, you can still craft some round cut opals, so let's make a few of those. We'll make 4 because we'll want 1 for each of these pieces of jewelry here. Actually, I'm going to make a few more because I'm going to need them for the other ones too. Let's say maybe 10. We'll make 10 round cut opals, and then we're going to want some emeralds as well. Of course, going to be round cut, and to make a round cut emerald or opal, it's just your round cutting tool and the appropriate gem. Very easy. For a round cut emerald, for example, it's trivial at 110, which really isn't bad. Last, I'm going to do a few round cut paradots. Make a couple of those, and I'll show you what I'm getting at. And again, this is something you might do if you're still pretty low. Maybe your skill is barely at 100, and even if it is, you can probably make these. As you see, most of the Electrum Trio jewelry is trivial between 78 and 90, so you don't need to have like a super high skill to make this stuff. So let's take a look at one of these rings, and we'll start putting a couple of gems in it. Again, this isn't something I would ever do now because I have access to underfoot diamonds. So I would always put the underfoot diamonds in there first. But let's say you only have access to these lower end gems, and you still want to try to make something that might give you a little boost. So it doesn't really matter what order you want to put the stuff in. We'll just put 1 of each of these gems in there. And don't let this fool you, because yes, these stats look phenomenal, don't they? 10 AC, 150 mana, endurance, and hit points. But that's not the stats that's in this ring. If you put the ring on, you're going to see a very different story. It's 2 AC, 30 hit points, 30 mana, 30 endurance. Because I don't know reasons. I don't know why Daybreak can't kind of fix this whole thing where it shows the real stats of trio jewelry. This is something that only happens with trio jewelry, and I think the reason is that if you right click on your opal, it says 150 hit points. If you right click on your emerald, it says 150 mana and endurance. And if you right click on your peridot, it says 10 AC. So one would think it would be like that, but it's not. When you put it on, you only get 2 AC, 30 hit points, 30 mana. But this could still be a big benefit, especially if you're making a whole set. You end up with over 150 hit points, and that's nothing to laugh at when you're level 1. Now, let's say you are on a server that has access to the Crimson Nihilites, and you can make a Marquise cut Crimson Nihilite, which you got to get a pretty good skill because this is trivial at 234. Okay, but this is going to up your ring so much that you won't believe it. So we'll make 1 here, and we'll close that. We're going to go to the next ring that's empty over here, and again, this is the Electrum. This is the baseline ring. that you can start using at level 1. We're going to get into the higher level ones in a minute. So we'll put one of these in there, and then we're going to add, well, let's just see what it is all by itself without any other gems. You now have 2 AC, 70 hit points, and that's just that one gem. So let's add the other two and see what happens. We'll add the round cut opal, and let's say this is maybe for a tank. So instead of having endurance and mana like an emerald, we'll put the peridot so it has even a little more AC. So now when we put this on, we see 4 AC and 100 hit points. And that's at level 1. And again, you can have a set of 8 of these, 2 earrings, 2 rings, a veil, a neck, and 2 bracelets. So you're getting like an extra 800 hit points if you make something like this at level 1. Phenomenal. If you want to step up even more, you have the shimmering nihilite. So let's take a look at that. We'll make a trillion cut shimmering nihilite, and it looks like I failed. So here we go. We got one now. We're going to close that. We're going to put our shimmering nihilite in the Electrum Trio earring. Yes. And you always want to put those special gems, the larger gems, in first, because they're the ones that get slot 11. The other ones get slot 10. Here we're going to go with a round cut opal, and we're going to get a round cut emerald. So we're going to put the earring on to make sure we see the real value of this piece of jewelry. And here we go. You see 2 AC, 80 hit point, 80 mana, 80 endurance, which could be a phenomenal piece of jewelry for any caster, especially at level 1. Just having that much mana beats out having intelligence. But if you want a little bit of intelligence in a Trio Electrum piece of jewelry at level 1, you could always consider adding a round cut jade, possibly instead of the opal. Yeah, you're going to sacrifice hit points, but it might still give you a little extra mana to have that in there. Again, note, you're not going to have 12 intelligence. It might give you an extra 2 intelligence on each piece of jewelry at level 1, not 12. 12 is the unfiltered or unmodified version. That's the max it could give you. And for that, you would need to be a higher level where you could wear a higher level metal of the jewelry, like gold, platinum, Valium, and so on. The next gem I want to talk about is the one that gives me a lot of trouble with pronunciation, and that's the Prestidigitus. It's the most ridiculous named gem in the game, and for this I'm going to take a look here which one we want. Do we want intelligence and wisdom? Do we want agility and charisma? Or do we want stamina, intelligence? That's actually a great one for a caster, especially any kind of wizard or mage. Strength and wisdom would be great for a paladin or a cleric because they gotta, carry their plate armor. Agility and dex would be phenomenal for a rogue. Stamina and dex, probably also great for a rogue or a monk. Strength and stamina, excellent for a warrior. So I think we're going to go with, which is the one here that give us intelligence and wisdom. Or actually, wasn't there one that gave like intelligence? There's one that gave, I think, intelligence and stamina. I think that one would be like the absolute best. Of course, it's going to be the very last one. Okay, intelligence and stamina, there we go. Because, some extra stamina gives you more hit points. So this one, you need a very high skill. You need to be at like about 350 at least if you want to try to make this without a whole lot of failure. I'm at 350. And that's with my intricate jeweler's glass, that's the final form of your trophy. So I can still have a 5% chance of failure, but I'm probably not going to fail. So let's make one of these. And again, the stats look great, but you put it in an Electrum piece of jewelry, and the stats aren't going to be nearly as high, but they're still going to be pretty good, pretty impressive. So let's give it a round cut opal for hit points, round cut emerald for mana and endurance, and we're probably going to get a very nice piece of jewelry here. Probably the best one we've made so far, especially that could be used at level 1, where it's got 4 stamina, 4 intelligence, 3 armor class, 60 hit point, mana, endurance, and even some saves for fire and cold. Excellent, excellent jewelry. Again, especially for level 1. So finally, I'm going to go for the underfoot diamond, and this should show you why it's my absolute favorite gem in the game, at least when it comes to the lower level characters. It's just amazing. So as you see, you need a high skill to make this. Even at 350, I still only have an 84% chance of success, which is really, really good. Here are some of the ones that I have memorized that I've done. I usually make one of these because it has wisdom for any kind of wisdom caster, and then I'll make this for any of my intelligence casters. So let's say we're making something for an intelligence caster, wizard, mage, or something like that. So we make one of these, close that, and we're going to stick that here in this bracer that I made. Then we're going to grab an opal. We're going to put that in there. We're going to grab an emerald. We're going to put that in there. And then we're going to try it on so we could see the real stats, because, you know, we don't want to bother with that lie. So remember, you can use this at level 1. There is no recommended level. So you get all of these stats at level 1, which is a 5 AC, 127 to your hit points, mana, and endurance. It's an odd number, but it checks out. Then we have +5 to strength, stamina, intelligence, agility, and dex. The only thing you're really missing is charisma. And then you got +5 to all these saves. Just amazing. And that's just one of these. Remember, you multiply this by 8 if you want, because you can have 2 earrings and 2 rings, 2 bracelets, a neck, and a veil. So super, super awesome. And again, can be used at level 1. So I'm not going to do all of these medals because doing so would take forever and it would be absolutely exhausting. But I'm going to go over each one. So there is a trio silver, but I've never bothered with it. It's just not worth it because you can wear the Electrum at level 1. Why are you going to go silver unless it's just that it's the only thing you can craft because your skill is really, really low? And just for the heck of it, we'll make one, okay? And I won't waste any of my really good gems on it, but let's see, maybe we'll make a shimmering nihilite. How's that? We'll make it, because I have so many of them. And we will take the shimmering nihilite, so at least we have a half decent gem to stick in there. We'll take an opal and an emerald, okay? And remember, the stats are not what they appear to be. Let's put it on. And here we have 1 AC, 48 hit points, 48 mana, 48 endurance. It's pretty much awful. Let's take a look at the where's the other shimmering that we had? I think it was this one here. No, that's the Prestidigitus. That's the underfoot. There it is, the shimmering nihilite. So let's compare it to this earring. And you see, you get almost double the stats. All right. So don't bother with silver if you can. Just go right away for the Electrum. It's not worth it. You're just wasting gems, you know? At that point, it's just not worth doing. When you get into your metals like gold and up, then you could start making compartmented trio jewelry, which I would recommend if you can, as opposed to just the gold trio ring. Make the compartmented trio ring. And you're going to ask, what's the difference? Well, the difference is the compartmented needs a vial of cloudy mana to be made, and what it gives you is a 4th slot, and that 4th slot is type 7. So that means any AUG that you find on the street can fit in here. Type 7 is the normal AUGs that drop off mobs all the time, and you know, you can give whatever jewelry you make that many more stats. And a lot of these AUGs that drop now have good hit points on it, strength, stamina, all that stuff. So why wouldn't you want to? I mean, some of these AUGs that drop even have like hit point and mana regen, so you can give them that. Or there's AUGs you can craft that give you additional focus effects. Like in improved damage on spells, or mana preservation, or extra range, or whatever it is that you happen to need. There's even some that you can craft that give hit point and mana regeneration. Then we have Platinum Trio, and again, I would suggest making the compartmented. The only difference is, again, you want to add a cloudy mana to it. You've got Valium Trio, which you would add clear mana to craft that. To make the compartmented, there's Palladium, and Palladium is where you start getting into fancy metals, because that's sort of a metal that was added later, you know, and that's for level 65 and up. And I'll review these as far as the levels. So gold is recommended 25. Platinum is recommended 40. Valium is recommended 55. There's like no rhyme or reason to some of these levels, folks. Palladium is recommended 65. Dwarium is recommended 75. It gets sensible in the higher metals where it's just every 10 levels. And then you've got Cosgrite, which is level 85, and Alaran metal at level 95, 90, or 90 and 95, like required 90. So that's where I kind of want to get into, is the Alaran metals. But let's also take a look. We also got planar alloy ring, which is 95, 100. So that's as far as I've gotten as far as crafting any of these pieces of jewelry. But it's the Alaran metal that I really want to look into here. We're going to make an Alaran Trio ring here. I'm going to hit combine, and that uses enchanted Alaran metal and a vial of distilled mana, and of course the trio tool and the ring mold. So we're going to combine, and here we got our spanking new Alaran metal ring. Of course, no stats or anything yet, but that's because we need the gem. And what gem do we use for this? Well, there's an Alaran gem. These have like incredible stats, folks. Like, you won't believe it. I want to find something that has intelligence on it. Let's try this one. Let's try the Marquise Cut Alaran gem. All right, and we're gonna make one of these. Okay, and we're gonna put that into our Alaran Trio ring. All right, and then we're also going to add, of course, an opal and an emerald, and this is for 90, 95. All right, and of course my enchanter is level 93, so I can actually wear this. What I'm wearing right now is Cosgrite, which is why I didn't make a Cosgrite ring. So let's take a look at the Cosgrite stats. It has our opal and an emerald, and it uses a mirage stone. I think it's a mirage stone. Anyway, great stats on it. It has attack, it has hit point regen, mana regen, clairvoyance. Just, it has heroic stats. It's a great gem, folks. Very nice. And you know, when I'm wearing it, you could see it gives me 58 AC, 1,228 hit points, mana endurance. It's for level 85 to 90, so I'm starting to outgrow this, okay? This is where the Alaran metal ring comes in. So we're going to try that on, and then we're going to see exactly what kind of stats we're looking at. So again, this is the Cosgrite that I was wearing. Here's the Alaran ring. Take a look at the difference in these two, folks. You've got 75 AC, 1,739 hit point, mana, and endurance. You've got all these heroic stats, all these crazy saves. You've got improved attack and hit point regen, mana regen, heal amount, damage, spell damage, and clairvoyance. It's just nuts. It's completely nuts. So I get almost 2,000 hit points from a single ring. So I'm going to have to start making this for all my guys that have hit level 90, because it's super impressive. And this is the one that I was just like, boom, mind blown. So if you have a jeweler and you got a level 90 character and you want to make some jewelry for them, this is the way to go. And I would suggest, if you have a level 85 to 90, go with the compartmented Cosgro ring, because you just need a Mirage Stone, an Opal, and an Emerald, and this is still a phenomenal ring right here. And since I feel like making one more thing, let's go back down a little bit. Let's say Platinum. I'm gonna make a Platinum Trio ring for the heck of it, just because I want to show something kind of in the mid-level place, you know, for your lower level characters. So this is recommended level 40, and for that we're going to go back to Underfoot Diamond, and let's not do that one. Let's go for, no, I don't want that one either. I want the one that gives wisdom, but I don't need the charisma. So here we go. This one's perfect. So we're going to go half moon cut Underfoot Diamond, and here we go. Compartmented platinum. I'm going to drop that in there. Close our jewelry kit. We're going to grab an opal and an emerald, and then we're going to put the ring on so we could see the real stats as opposed to the fake stats, because those stats are lies. And here we go. The real stats that you would get from it would be 10 to all these stats: strength, stamina, wisdom, agility, and dex. 10 AC, 254 hit point, mana, endurance, and 10 to all of these saves. Phenomenal ring for the level. And again, you know, imagine having 8 different pieces, because you got the 2 rings, 2 earrings, veil, neck, and 2 bracelets if you want. So I usually just go with 1 bracer, because usually I want whatever graphic the, you know, cloth or plate or whatever the heck gives you. When you put this on, the jewelry bracer on, it gives you like a chainmail look. So some folks might like that, some might not. So that's it, folks. That's my little video on jewelry and trio jewelry and some of the different gems and some of the things that you can make. And again, some of it is just amazing. You know, of course you gotta have a high jewelry skill to make a bunch of this stuff. If you have that skill, great. If you don't, then I guess you can't make that stuff. I'll have to be making more of this compartmented Aloran jewelry for my level 90 plus characters. I just started making these today, and I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed and happy that I started messing around with it. I had been collecting Aloran metal and gems, because I always start trying to collect something in preparation for when I level up and when I get there to start using it. And I'm glad I did, because it's a great upgrade. I don't have to go into the bazaar to try to hunt down jewelry that can be way overpriced. I can make my own. And buying this metal and these gems wasn't even that much when you set up a good buyer and stuff. So I hope this helps you. I hope you learned something. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. If for any reason you really disliked the video, you can give the video a thumbs down. If you do give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, let me know in the comments what you liked or disliked about the video. What would you do to make the video better? If you like what I do here, you want to support me and support the channel, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Or you could leave a super thanks below. Super thanks is like a little mini donation to help me out and support the channel. Likewise, you can also join the channel as a channel member. Channel members get special perks and privileges, like access to join our private Discord server. If YouTube membership isn't your thing, you can take a look at the Patreon. Patreon members also get access to the private Discord, as well as member-only content. Check out the other social media links in the description below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and a wonderful tomorrow.